I know you are not. I care about you because I know it can be way more beautiful than these artificial things, right?
Yeah.
And this lays that out, right, in a very logical fashion.
You know, before we began here, we were doing a little meditation together, and you shared something that really touched me. You shared a little bit of just the awe of your story of how does this man, yourself, be guided from where you were, and I'd love you to share kind of what your background was for a moment, to moving into the forest and then going through the incredibly deep meditations and commitments to building this business, to now being the spiritual teacher. I mean, if there's any sense of awe in life, I look at the same thing in my own life in a different way. But would you just share that little journey for a moment, just so that people can get a sense and what you feel as you think about it today?
Well, the main thing I learned and the main thing I see and I live is if I had listened to me, it would not have happened. Okay? In other words, me meaning Mickey, me meaning the voice, the preferences, the whole thing. There's no way, right?
Because the direction you were heading initially was what?
I was going to be a professor in economics. I was getting my doctorate degree in economics, right? But I didn't make that decision. It's sort of like how life pushed you, right? And then I had a very deep meditation, and where that came from, I can't answer. But I decided I had no choice. It was so deep that it moved me so deeply that I said, I can't go on in life without exploring this. Right, and that's when I moved out to the woods. All right, and my thought was, I'm going to move out to the woods. I'm going to meditate. And I'm going to die there. That's all. It's do or die. Right, and there was no concept of anything after that. Right, but then I learned that as long as I was in there struggling with myself, fighting with myself, with my all the noise and the problem, that I could never be free because I was fighting with myself. The worst battle you ever want to have is the one between your left arm and your right arm. Don't arm them. All right? You can't fight with yourself. You lose. All right? And that's when I learned, I talk about that in the surrender experiment, that's where I learned that the only way I can do this is to let go and honor a force stronger than me, which is life, right? To start to do that. So this whole journey was a question of, am I ready, willing, and able to let go of the parts of me, all right, that are resisting what is unfolding, all right? And so I started doing that. I think the ultimate example is this. At one point, people were coming out, and they're on my land. I didn't want them out there. I didn't. My mind was bothering me. I just wanted to meditate, leave me alone, but they were coming out. People wanted to meditate with me, and so on. And we ended up building this temple. And I was a builder. I wasn't a builder at that time. That's how I learned to build, right? And we built it ourselves. We didn't have any money, all right? And we built this building. And I was the head carpenter on it, and so on. And at one point, after some people helped, I was the only carpenter on it. I was building the whole thing. And while we're building it, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not embarrassed. While I'm laying down the planks, putting up the boards, all right, every single time my mind is saying, what are you doing? It's a fad. People will stop coming out here. It'll be a few months. You'll have this building in the middle of your land. I thought you were out here to respect nature. It was giving me a very hard time, right? And I just kept building. I had no answers. I didn't have to answer it. I just kept ignoring it, not suppressing it, but going about my business. That was a great learning, right? That building was built in 1975. We do no mailings, no invitations, and every single Sunday, for what now? 43 years, right? 60, 70, 80 people find their way out there to that building every single Sunday from that time, right? And that, I look at him and I stick my tongue out. Like, you didn't know what you were talking about. That's what I've learned. He doesn't know what he's talking about. How could he? He only knows the little things that have happened to him, right? He didn't know the bigger picture. He doesn't have any idea what's going on. And so what I learned and what I feel now is that there's only one way to live your life, and that is life, not mind. Right? And so what I feel is a great joy of having learned that and having let go of myself to whatever degree. I'm not high or anywhere special, but having let go enough to where there's just constant joy in here. And then I know that exists inside of everybody. And of course I'm going to, if I don't go out there to push the teachings, but if people come, of course I'm going to do my best to try to help them. I said the young ones when they come. I mean, that's very moving. You get 19, 20-year-old college students come out, right? And they're sitting there like this, right? And just say, oh my God, at that age, to realize that, right? So that's my answer to you.
Nikki, you're a beautiful soul. Sage and I both are very grateful to be able to call you a friend and to just know your spirit. And I'm just grateful to the force of nature, the force of God, the force of the universe that's brought you through this evolution, and that you were willing, as I say, to go through so much pain. No one will know all that you've gone through. but you found your way through that to the deeper and richer part of what life really is about. And I just, on behalf of all those that are listening, all those that are watching, all those that read your books, I'm just one of the millions here to thank you once again for being the beautiful soul you are, brother.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Sig.
Thank you.
And
We
if
love
they
you.
want to get the course, we
Yes.
talked about
Please.
it.
Oh,
If
absolutely.
they just go online.
Yeah,
and
we're
search.
gonna put a link
You
for
put a
you if
link
you're
on there?
watching.
Okay.
We're gonna put a link for you so you can go directly to it.
Beautiful.
And tap into it immediately. I think you'll be thrilled. I know you'll be thrilled when you use it. So thanks for joining us again for another podcast.
Thank you,
there.
Tony.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you.
Sig.
Thank you. It's
you
really
here.
beautiful.
Thanks so much. Thanks sounds true as well.
Yes,
God bless.
absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
The Tony Robbins Podcast is directed by Tony Robbins and hosted by Tony Robbins and Mary Buckheit. Anna York is the executive producer and steps in as occasional host. Digital editing by Jamie Carvajal and Adriel